What is good, YouTube? Quimway basketball analysis coming to y'all with my top 10 players. This is the most complete, best, huge impact players based off their career, their regular season playoffs, and everything I have seen this entire run of basketball. And it was tough, it was hard. There's going to be a lot of controversies. But what is that without a list? There's no perfect list. There's no the right list. We all got our own opinions. We have so many stats, so many records, so many things that happened throughout the beginning of the season to now. And I'm trying to smash it all in to one list. And it should be fun telling you guys why I got somebody here, why I don't, why I do, and that's why it's always fun for you guys to watch. Tell me all this, or tell me what you agree or disagree with, and that always makes a debate a fun argument between me, fans, and what they feel is right or wrong. But I'm going to try to be as fair as possible, as statistical as possible, and give these guys their credit, regardless of where they at. This is the top of the players in the world when you get through 10, 5, top 3, and number 1. But it only can be one top 5, one top 3, one number 1 player. It's all debatable, but everybody list has one at the top, and that's what we're going to discuss why I have mine. 10. Video game Dame actually made my top 10. Year after year after year after year, I continue to edge him out of my top 10 just because somebody has a better impact. Somebody better is, players are either a better overall player than he is, or just I feel like teams or players were overlooked and Dame got a lot more credit. But I feel like this version of Dame, what we seen in the playoffs, what we seen throughout the regular season, is still one of the MVP candidates each and every year because he keeps Portland within the playoffs every year or in the playoffs every year for the last almost 10 years. And even though we don't know his future with Portland, when you look at the assists, when you look at the points, when you look at the clutch, when you look at the carrying ability, the takeover ability, he has it all figured out, especially on the offensive end. And even though he still isn't the greatest passer like some of the players on this list, he still is a great enough passer to where he still knows where to find guys. He still makes his teammates better because they play off him. He relies on them, and he does his job on the offensive end each and every night, and is always usually healthy, and as always has great games even against the best competition. His playoff success continues to hold him out for being elite, but not only his playoff success, not being a great defender and a disposable defender. His offense couldn't overcome those things, and that's why he's at 10. Joel Embiid, this is another guy that continues to never make my top 10 lists, and he does this year. It's undeniable how good Joel Embiid is when he's healthy. It's undeniable his impact when he is on the court, and I give him that credit each and every year. And this year, he just took his game to an elite level offensively throughout the regular season and for majority of the playoffs. And his defense still was one of the best, probably the second best defensive center outside of Rudy Gobert this year, while still being a guy that can hit you from the post, the mid range, the three, hit free throws, and can literally dominate other bigs and other matchups, and even was cruising past double teams this season. And I feel like with his offensive game taking that huge leap this year, I had to give him his credit when it was due and put him within the top 9. 8, Luka. I feel like Luka has been great and amazing in the regular season, but this year he took his game to another level in the playoffs. I knew he was always a great player. I knew that he will be one of the best players. I felt like he should have been number 1 in that draft. I felt comfortable about that last year when he was All NBA first team at 21, and I felt even better about that with him being All NBA first team in 22, while also obliterating the Clippers defense each and every game almost, and doing it at an efficient, unstoppable, doing whatever he wants to at one point level, and he made it look so easy. He made it all look cool, and he did it against a great team and great competition. And I have to give Luka his credit when he can rebound and pass at his level while also improving your efficiency and your 3-point game, especially in the playoffs, and carrying your team to almost an upset, going up 3-2 on the Clippers. Ultimately, they folded and couldn't get it done, which nobody believed that they would. But they also made it more interesting than we thought that they would, and a lot of it had to do with the dominance of Luka Doncic. Defense holds him back, and also his ability to shy away from those moments of wanting to go up against great players one on one, and also being very turnover prone and a little shaky with his jump shot still, but he took a step in the right direction in the playoffs. And if he can play like that, Dallas eventually will be getting a championship if they can put the right team around them. 7, I still have James Harden because he's just as good as Luka and all these other players offensively, better than all of them facilitating wise, just as good as a rebounder as all of them, and his impact and ability to make guys around him better. He has that just like all these other guys, and just being unstoppable whenever he wants to be. Embiid is unstoppable. Luka got to the point where he's unstoppable. Dame has become unstoppable, and Harden has been able to do it too throughout his whole career. And still this season, if he needs to get 30 and 40, he will still do it. If he needs to get 30, 40, 10 and 10, he can still do it. And he showed that during the regular season. And he was able to show that when he was healthy in the playoffs, that he doesn't have to do it as much on his Brooklyn team, but he's still capable of doing it whenever it needs to be done. And Harden is still one of the elite players in the league. Number 6 is Jokic. I feel like he carried a little bit more than the other guys because of Jamal Murray going down, but his success sustained throughout the regular season. The Nuggets didn't get off to the best start, but Jokic did. The Nuggets was able to get better as the season was going on, but Jokic was consistent the beginning, the middle, the end, and even in the playoffs, killing people with the pass, killing people on the boards, killing people with the mid-range pull-ups, free throws, jump shots from 3, and absolutely doing whatever he wants to do at an efficient level. This was the season where he shot great from 3, from the free throw, from the field, and was absolutely shredding anybody. But his passing is just so amazing for a big. And when you put all of those things together, you have the MVP. And the MVP should be high on this list. Number 5, LeBron. I'm going to have to agree with everybody. I've dropped LeBron significantly. He definitely would have been higher if he would never got injured and played better in the playoffs, because I feel like he got off to that MVP start, but he started to get a little banged up when AD went down. He started showing his human ability, and then he just went all the way down to not playing a lot of the season. To even in the postseason, it didn't look like that dominant takeover. I'm going to carry us, LeBron. We didn't get one carry us to the W LeBron game in the playoffs, and that just can't happen. And it's LeBron on top of that. He usually does it. This is a guy that always is in the finals, and he gets knocked out in the first round and never has that one signature game in the entire series. I got to put LeBron down. I feel like his defense slid a little bit too, and his overall dominance took a hit this year. He should be higher next year, the way he's talking and the way he's feeling. He might be back at the top, maybe back closer to the top, but you still got to give him top 5 when you look at what he has done in the playoffs, but also what he was able to do in the beginning and the middle of the season. But you also got to factor in the ending of the season in the playoffs, and that's why I don't have LeBron as high. Giannis, number 4, he got off to a pretty good start in the regular season, has been one of the most consistent regular season performers in the NBA, especially because he was just a 2-time MVP last season. Didn't play up to that level this season, but he ended with a 50-piece, and he did end with a dominant postseason run in the finals. But when you factor in the Miami series, he didn't really look good. He didn't really look dominant or confident. You look at the Nets series, he had a lot of fails and flops in that series. He took it to another level in Atlanta, but he did miss some games in that series, and he got off to a decent start in Phoenix and was able to get his stride going and finish it off. But when I look at the regular season, when I look at how he ended the season, when I look at the entire playoffs, not just the finals, Giannis is still flawed from three. He's still flawed from the free throw line and still flawed as an offensive player. But he also still shows those flaws against certain teams and against, the elite competition. Even though he is a champion in the finals MVP, I had to factor in everything, not just a championship. And they did have help from Drew Holiday Middleton. It wasn't just an individual championship. It was a team award. And that's what Giannis was able to get. And he was able to be dominant when it mattered most in the finals. And that's why he got the finals MVP. Number 3, Steph Curry just obliterated everything. This was the best guard in the entire league. And he just did whatever he wanted to do. And he got off to a rocky start to me in the regular season, and then he was must-see T for the rest of the season. It would have been fun to see him in the playoffs just because he was just that amazing that we knew he was going to go off or knew he was going to do something crazy. We just didn't get to see it because they got eliminated in the play-in game. But even then, he was fun to see. But Steph assisting, scoring so efficiently from the three, blazing from the field, blazing from the free throw line, one of the scorchers in the NBA, and had one of his greatest seasons to one of the greatest careers we ever seen. Even had an argument to be in the MVP with a team that wasn't even in the playoffs. It shows you how great Steph Curry really was. Number 2 is the person that was slept on this year. It was the All-NBA first team, Kwai Leonard. I don't know how he was an All-NBA first team player, an All-Defensive second team player, and a guy that was averaging 30 for the entire playoffs before he went down. And nobody has him this high when he's a two-way player, dominant offensively, improved significantly as a passer, absolutely scorching from everywhere on the court, and was able to take Luka's best and still put Luka out when he was up 3-2 because he was shooting 70% from the field in multiple games. And in one of the games he shot 69%, while was disrupting everything defensively, picking apart defenses where he almost had a triple-double in that game 7. And nobody even knows about it, and I don't even know why. Maybe because Kwai Leonard ain't the talker. Maybe he ain't the most promoted. Maybe he ain't the biggest showboater. Maybe he ain't the flashiest, but he is a baller. We have to give Kwai Leonard credit for what the season he had and the playoff run that he had. This run was absolutely slept on. When I'm looking at All-NBA first team, defensive team, all-star, dominant numbers from rebounding, assists, scoring, and efficiency, then you factor in the playoffs. What happened to the people that look at Kwai Leonard as one of the elite players in the league? The only thing that's knocking them is health. Same with Embiid and a lot of other guys like LeBron this year. But when he was healthy, he was just on the same level as everybody else, and nobody seems to realize that each and every season besides that Toronto season. But these numbers are comparable to that season in the playoffs, and everybody slept on it. But people felt like he was number 1 then. Was it because he won the title and got it done? Even though he had help with Golden State being a little beat up in the finals? I don't know what it was, but Kwai Leonard has continued to be slept on in his career. So I got him number 2. And Kevin Durant, I feel like he was the best player in the regular season. I feel like he was showing that he was still the best player in the playoffs. Sniper from 3, sniper from mid-range, sniper from free throw, can hit shots easy, difficult, and whatever you need it to be, he's a bucket. He struggled a little bit in that Bucks series a couple games. Once he figured out he had probably the best playoff run outside of Giannis this season. But even when you look at the fact that Giannis played more series, Giannis also had a healthier team than what KD had. And when KD was healthy, he was the best, even to me, in the regular season. And that's what I'm judging it back off. Who was the best individual player? When I look at rebounds, assists, and efficiency, it was Kevin Durant this year. And even when you look at the fact that if he was healthy, they probably would have even been number 1 in the East, because they barely finished number 2 in the East. But Harden and those guys was beat up ending the season and also in the playoffs as Kyrie and Harden went down. But KD individually still rose above everybody, and he's my number 1 player this year in the NBA. And it looks like the way he's been playing, he might be able to do it again. Now we just gonna see if he can end with the ship and get his, third. So that's gonna be the question for him, and that's what we have to see him do if he really wants to live up to bringing this big three hype together and finishing off with a title or even multiple. That's the goal. That's why he signed the extension, and that's why he's ready for Harden and Kyrie to do it. Those is his guys. These are the guys he wants to play with. He feels like this team can get it done. Now KD has to do his part. They have to do their part as a collective and get it done. And honestly, he's playing with another top 10 player in Harden. He has enough. It's just about getting it done, and we have to see if they do it. But that's my top 10 list. Let me know what I got right, what I got wrong, who I slept on, who I missed, who should be in, who should be out, where they should be in, where they should be at. And however you feel about my list, let me know. This is Quinn Wade, basketball analysis coming to y'all. See y'all Sunday. Hope y'all guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys send y'all lists in, and I'll hopefully see y'all tomorrow.